I've got a new update for the Flow Stack. It's got some new features, it's got some bug fixes. The most amazing indicator ever created just keeps getting better. Here's the price action from this morning. I'm using the Flow Stack very simply on this chart. It's looking for a correlation between the NQ delta and the ES delta. I've got the delta numbers for both instruments right above the candles. When they are both positive or both negative, I get these arrows printing. And once the arrow prints, it stays in the same direction until both instruments turn in the opposite direction. Every single candle where you have positive delta on both the NQ and the ES will get one of these arrows. You can see there is some great trade opportunities this morning. So I've got the delta number threshold set to 0 for the main chart and instrument number 2, which is the ES. So anytime the delta is at all positive or at all negative on both instruments, I'm getting the candle colors and the signal arrows. So I've got the delta numbers above the candles activated, so I can see the delta for the NQ and the ES coming in live in real time intrabar. I've got my secondary instrument of the ES 1 minute, and the main chart is an NQ 1 minute, which I'm trading off of. So under the signal conditions, I'm only using the delta number threshold. So there's a lot of other signal conditions that I could add: a volume increase, a body size increase, a moving average trend with a customizable SMA or EMA. I can also add in if the Heikin-Ashi is bearish or bullish. And then check it out, I've got some brand new signal conditions included in this newest upgrade to the MMT Flow Stack. I've got an ATR increase. I've been messing around activating this with the ATR period of 3 and then just using the directional filter as well. The ATR increase can be helpful if you want to stay out of choppy markets. I've also added an RSI overbought oversold signal condition and a stochastic overbought oversold signal condition. These were actually in the original test version of the Flow Stack, and I've recently thought of some good uses for them, so I put them back in. So if you activate the RSI overbought oversold, the RSI must be in the overbought state for whatever number that you select here, and it must be true across all of the instruments that you have selected. So if you want to know when the RSI or the stochastic is overbought across multiple instruments, you can activate these signal conditions. So let's say I want to use the stochastic overbought oversold and click this on. So it's got to be above 60 for a short condition to be true, or below 40 for a long condition to be true. And I'm also using the delta number threshold signal condition. So both of these conditions must be true across the NQ and the ES for us to get a signal. So let's take a look before. We got a lot of movement in both directions. Now I'm going to click apply. Now you can see how this gets smoothed out. So we were bullish right at the open. Then 6 minutes into the open, we had delta go negative on both instruments, and the stochastic was over 60. So we got the directional change. Here we got positive delta on both instruments, and the stochastic was below 40. So we got to move to the upside. So this adds a whole new layer of Confluence. You can choose as little or as many of these signal conditions that you want to activate, and you can just use the main chart, or you can enable several other potential instruments as well. You can go in and select your instrument. I would recommend keeping these at the same time frame as your main chart. The next upgrade, the sound alerts have been fixed. I had never actually used the sound alerts, but apparently they were not working. Now they are working, and I've also added an additional sound file option. Now you can choose separate alerts for longs and shorts. So if you got these signal arrows activated, you can click on the sound alerts. You can choose whatever sound alert you want to play for a long or a short arrow. Then you get a sound alert when these arrows print. And then lastly, I fixed an issue with Strategy Builder. It had a little error message that was popping up, but that is gone, and you can now use the value plots in Strategy Builder. I've got value plots for the long signals, for the short signals. Both of these are a +1 for the condition to be true. And then I've got value plots for the delta number for the 4 different instruments, as well as the delta percentage for the 4 different instruments, if you're crazy enough to use them in Strategy Builder or Strategy Analyzer. So those are the updates to the amazing Flow Stack indicator. Definitely the best thing that I've ever created. Highly recommend checking out the overview video and the YouTube playlist for the FlowStack indicator. It's got so many different potential uses. Definitely one of my favorite tools in the toolkit. There are links to all of the MMT indicators in the description. Anyone that's out there using code MonkeyMan at Lucid, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify, thanks so much for your support. I wish you best of luck in your trading. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.